to another on-location edition of Cal's World. You see, we're in a barbershop. Not just any barbershop, it's one of the most active ones in downtown Lynn. And I got a few guests here today that are going to talk about downtown Lynn and our recent revitalization in our city. No stranger to media in our city is, to my left, Joe Mulligan. Welcome to the show again, Joe.
Great to be back, Calvin.
Well, Joe Mulligan was the fellow hired or sent to us from Mass Development a few years ago, and just ending his 3-year stint in advising Lynn and some of our elected officials on what to do to bring us into the new millennium, is the way I look at it. A couple of other people here is Justice Morley. Now, Justice is a point person for the new food truck emporium. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And to my right, to wrap us up and bring us home, is a activist, long-term activist in Lynn. I've seen him at a lot of rallies, and he's Joe Moore, and he's going to talk about some of that activism with us and share some poetry and bring us home with a song. But first of all, let's talk about downtown Lynn. Now, our barbershop is here. It's the JB Barbershop at 337 Union Street, which is right at the curve of Union Street where it enters Central Square, right at the heart of our burgeoning arts and cultural district. So I want to talk first with Joe Mulligan about what's been going on. Now, when you came to town 3 years ago, what was your mission, and what are you leaving us with?
Our hope is to make incremental change to create a positive environment in the downtown district of Lynn by working with the nonprofit, the public, and the private sector to try to stimulate activities and generate a new vision or a fresh perspective on the downtown, and to try to make incremental improvements that will overall have a positive impact on the place.
So when you first came in, you weren't given any specific mission, I understand. You went around, you asked questions of the existing, I call them activist groups, and the alphabets of bureaucracy in our city, the ECDs, the EDICs. Which is your favorite?
Well, they're all my favorite. What we also do is partner with the business sector as well as downtown residents. And there's a lot of great ideas in Lynn that have been developed over the years, and I think one of the great opportunities is to take a fresh look at them, dust them off, and see if we can bring some additional resources or catalyze to move them forward. I think a great example is some of the ideas that have been proposed down at the viaduct, and Justice has done a great job on pulling together a real dynamic group of food vendors and artists and talent, and when we see now that downtown is becoming a destination for the community, and it's really changed its perception over the last couple of years, I think, in a lot of ways, through arts and culture, through a robust businesses downtown. There's very few vacant storefronts. I know this place was inactive when I first arrived, and I think people are taking a fresh look at downtown and saying, this is where I want to stake my claim, this is where I want to open a business, this is where I want to hang out, this is where I want to do things, and it's begun to change the shape and feel, and I think the perception of Lynn.
Yeah, one of the things we're going to, hopefully Kelvin, the barber, and by the way, if you hear some beat in the background, this is original. This is Kelvin, the main barber and manager of the JMB. And he's also a break dancer and does other things in the arts and cultural realm. But he's going to hopefully come down and talk a little bit about, I broke my own rule, I left my phone out. He's going to come down and explain to us why the owners chose to invest in downtown Lynn. You can see there's a magnificent build out here. They put some money in here. It looks like they're here to stay. So Kelvin, anytime you want, come down. I just had to remind him, this is organic. We're interrupting his flow. We didn't stage this at all. We're in a corner. This is reality. His family's here getting their hairs cut. And, you know, the movie Barbershop brought to mind the whole idea that people just don't go there to cut their hair. Oh no, it's a cultural civic center. People come to share and bond and talk about trends. And here they talk about a lot of arts and culture. Back to Joe. Now, when you first came to town, you walked around, you saw all these things. What's been going on since, and what have we got for tangible changes either done or in the pipeline? You were a booster with Beyond Walls, very famous endeavor last summer and going to be continued this summer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think we had a great opportunity to help do some jump starting on financing with Beyond Walls and do some introductions. They've really driven the process with Al Wilson and his team Pedro and Amanda and now Julia that have taken the reins and advanced a lot of different initiatives to the extent that they're coming back next year. The success of their initiative last year certainly, I think, put Lynn on the map in terms of the arts and cultural district. They got a tremendous amount of positive media and millions of social media hits, which are kind of the currency nowadays for bringing attention to good initiatives and getting people to want to come here to check out the scene and be part of it.
Make sure you do a save a date. There's another round of murals, another mural festival. What are the dates? I know it's in August. A full 2 weeks this year.
The 6th to the 18th.
You'd have to be a hermit to not be able to find it out. People are talking about it, and it's on so many websites. But they're hitching a ride on that. You know, you got to have momentum, have some things already in the pipeline, and then going on.
And I think the other initiatives, and some of it was gleaned from our downtown action strategies that we did when we first arrived here to get feedback from the community. I think it's very important. Without contributing to the dialogue and having the community participate in that, the ideas that you come up with just aren't going to gain traction or gain momentum. So what I think is a real positive impact in Lynn is that to an extent people have realized that the power to change their surroundings lie within themselves. And I think we've been fortunate that one of the great assets in Lynn is not only its proximity to the ocean and its great downtown and its neighborhoods, but Lynn's greatest assets are its people, the people who come out and want to have a good place to live, want to raise their family here, and want to spend time in their community being proud of it. And I think if there's a lesson to be learned the last 3 years, that there's been a realization that there are opportunities to do that downtown in many different ways.
I know that when I came to the city 18 years ago, being just sort of, it's in my blood to be an activist in any community I'm living in, I found that you could really do something meaningful and tangible in this city. In fact, I think I coined the expression, two people doing something together in Lynn is considered a movement, but you can really see what happens, and it's contagious. Don't you find that out? When something happens, people say, gee, you know, I could do something to help or complement that. And next thing you know, it takes on its own dynamic and momentum. When I came to town 18 years ago, after dark, this whole neighborhood was dark, dead. There were empty storefronts. And then suddenly, the few little disparate arts endeavors started to coalesce around the district. And now we're in our second stint as being named an official downtown district by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
And that district has been expanded as well to include more of the cultural resources downtown. Also working to expand the historic district. And some of the other initiatives we're working on is transportation improvements and connectivity, not only to the waterfront, but to the region as a whole. I think to your point about a small group of people coming together to do an initiative that catches fire, I'm sure, Justice, I can imagine you're somewhat surprised, although not entirely, because you're a good organizer and you put together a great plan. But I think everybody was really jazzed on the first Ironbound event. Finally got a break in the weather, but people came out from all over. And to see that where there's this awakening downtown that the power to do things lie within the people who are here, and the talent is already in Lynn.
This is a perfect segue to introduce Justice Morley, who's had a bunch of different activism stints in town as well, but the latest is the last year and a half or so has been front person for the Ironbound experience. So tell us about that. Tell us what Francisco's been trying to do for years.
Francisco,
coming together.
Francisco's the visionary behind the Ironbound project. It's a marketplace with food trucks at the core of it. That's been his vision for over a decade now. He's just been beating the drum, with neighbors and city hall and food trucks and trying to get things going. Fortunately, this year is the year that it's starting to actually take form. It's becoming a reality. We had our grand opening on April 21st. So, yeah, like he said, we got a break in the weather. We took advantage of that weather, and we put in a special order for sunshine, and it came as ordered. So we're moving on to our next one for the 26th. We got rained out last weekend, so we got our rain date scheduled for this Saturday coming up. And we're at Ironbound. The mission behind that is to create a hub for food trucks, art, and entertainment.
Justice, can I put a bookmark in that?
Yeah.
Hold that thought, but we're in between. We're invading a real live, real-time barbershop. And Kelvin, thanks for letting us shoot. Now, Kelvin's the barber at the first chair. That's also his beat, as you know, been playing behind us. And I just want you to tell us, why did your owners who you built this out for and managed for, why did they choose downtown Lynn as a destination?
Okay, well, downtown Lynn is very popular.
Shout at that fuzzy thing up there.
Okay, downtown Lynn is a very populated area. There's a lot of businesses that are coming up now. There's a lot of art in the area. The train station is right across the street. The community college is right down the street. It's a perfect location for a barbershop, and we try to offer many different types of services to, also make a change in the barbershop industry.
I see you got more than just a barbershop going on here. There's pool tables. There's, if you don't like the music, he's got a lot of playlists in there. I've been in here and heard jazz, and then I said, hey, this is good stuff. He says, that's me. He doesn't gloat, but he'll tell you this is him. He also breakdance, right?
Yes, I do.
He's going to come on the show pretty soon. We're going to show some of those moves. Do you have anything else to say? Do you have to get back to your patrons? All right. Thanks for coming down.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's Kelvin. Kelvin. I'm Calvin. It gets confusing, but people start calling his name my term. Okay. Anyway, take the bookmark out, Justice. Finish up talking about the food truck.
I'm glad you brought Kelvin in. He is definitely one of the original B-boys from Lynn, from the old Lords of Illusion crew. People might remember that name. But yeah.
I did not know that. That's
Lords of
new. I
Illusion,
love
yeah.
knowing new stuff every
Anthony
day.
Drudge, check out his illustrations.
Yeah,
Going back in the mix.
I see some of that too.
But yeah, Ironbound it's a hub for art, entertainment, and food trucks. We have rotating food trucks come in. We've got some that park regular. Our schedule can be found at ironboundlynn.com for our marketplace vendors, our event calendar, and our food truck schedule. So wherever people are at, they can get plugged in on social media. But we encourage people to just randomly stroll by there any day of the week and check out what's going on down there.
Now, they're referred to as the viaducts, but since I've been to town, I've heard them called everything from Quonset huts to those curvy things under the railroad tracks, and that's where it is. This is on Mount Vernon Street, the easiest street to close down for those block parties.
Those aqueducts, those ones are, I believe, managed, owned by EDIC.
Right.
So they've got another project that they're looking to use for the aqueducts. 2/3 of the street on Mount Vernon on the aqueduct side, privately owned by Ironbound.
The unique thing about the part that Ironbound is involved with is that the owner who has access to those Quonset huts, if you will, owns the sidewalks and the parking spaces too. So they can legally just say, this is private property, let's park those in. Now, Francisco's been trying to develop that for several years. He worked with the MBTA, but it was like a sieve. Every time it rained, he had water issues. So after that was taken care of, he had a couple of fault spots. I remember he was going to do some auto detailing down there. Commuters, drop your car off, pick it up after work, all spiffy, stuff like that. Then it laid fallow again because of these things. Now this thing is wonderful. He's replicating what I believe started in, he did it first in Somerville, right? The food truck emporium type of model.
This is the first. This is
Really?
the first, yep.
Well,
I know he's drawn inspiration from some things happening in Somerville.
yeah,
and other
where they
areas.
set up, it's not just food trucks, it doesn't just go up. They got places to sit, and if it's raining, they've got some shady areas. There's random art going on, like picking up in the neural theme downtown. It's actually romantic. I rode by the other day, and there's people sitting at these little settees underneath these canopies, eating hot dogs, and it's not just hot dogs. What other type of cuisine are in there?
We've got Chef Leo's Kitchen. He's got American, some Brazilian food as well. We've also got Walloons, and those are some of our regular food vendors that come down during the week. We're also bringing in a wider variety for our block parties, and just little by little you'll start seeing that variety spill out into regular days of the week, like Zaki food truck, Scheherazade is another one. So we've got some Iranian food, we've got some Egyptian food. Yeah, we've got a mix of stuff.
Like a stroll around the world.
Yeah, pretty much.
What I think is great is that the private sector has gotten ahead of the public sector in terms of creating that as a destination. Mass Development's working with EDIC right now with a group of consultants to see if we can't transform the other side of the viaduct with some type of modular, convertible, shipping container structures is kind of the concept we're looking at right now. There's always concerns about having to deal with issues like environmental issues, permitting, and public safety, but what's been great is the city, particularly the new administration, is very amenable to working with all ideas that are coming to the table right now, and I think it's a kind of a great impetus now to bring concepts to the forefront credit to Mayor McGee and his team that say, hey, let's see, bring an idea, and let's see if we can make it happen. And don't be afraid to maybe stub a toe or trip up. You know, we'll pick you up and dust you off, and we'll keep on going. And I think that's just the type of attitude Lynn needs.
The good thing is if you have just viable space that's versatile, you can do pop-ups. Pop-ups are the thing going on right now. You don't have to invest in permanent brick and mortar. If it works, go to the next step. But a pop-up, it either works or it doesn't. And there's always variety, and people start getting known to look for those pop-ups. And what do? They try to find out what's going on.
And we're going to take that same idea to some of the transportation initiatives to begin to relook at the downtown traffic circulation. And there might be an opportunity to make one-way streets, two-way streets.
We got about
maybe
2 minutes
maybe
left.
do it for a couple of months
This
and
is
see
just
what
what I
happens.
wanted to mention is a couple of the physical changes planned or at least suggested through your study. One of them is tell them about Sutton Street.
Well, there's opportunities like the block party that's happening at Ironbound to see if there's other locations in downtown that can be transformed on a temporary basis, including what we call Restaurant Road down by Sutton Street. Could you block that off maybe the night before or the night of a concert downtown, have some type of activity that allows people to come down, have a beer or maybe have a little a taste to eat before the show, and bring additional people that also I think will supplement the restaurant business down there. But also look at what we call complete streets layout on some of the downtown areas that incorporate multimodal transportation for bicycles, enhanced pedestrian safety, better street crossings. Again, looking at the circulation to see if there's ways to improve that, so that when you drive into downtown, you don't have to, if you make one wrong turn, you don't have to start all the way back at the beginning and go all over again.
Oh, it's a Rube Goldberg design downtown Lynn.
And Mayor McGee has rebranded this as Lynn Moves, a new initiative to kind of take a look holistically, not only on downtown, but how can we make connectivities to the community path that's proposed over on West Lynn.
I had a flyer to pitch that. There's a series of hearings coming up. The first one was scheduled for June 12th, but keep an eye on it. Get out and save a date and do some public input on connecting the rail trail to the rest of them. This is the finish of the bike to the sea.
And then how can we connect to the waterfront and to follow up on the waterfront master plan open space initiative that's just winding down right now. Great better connectivity to the water, have more engagement in the waterfront, including some initiatives that Beyond Walls will be announcing soon to activate some spaces down there that have previously been dormant or inactive. So a lot of exciting things on the table, a lot of confluence of good ideas that are coming down. And I think a new initiative or kind of a inspiration from the community to take part of that and be part and drive those ideas forward are really what I consider positive changes in downtown Lynn.
So before we turn it over to Joe Boyd, who's going to talk a little bit about a couple of activism pieces, I want to remind everybody that there's a series of events year-long commemorating our favorite son. Well, he wasn't born here, but he spent the 6 most influential years of his life in Lynn, Frederick Douglass. And a placeholder, July 3rd. Come up to High Rock Tower after 3 o'clock. There's the Family Day pony rides, the reading of his speech, paragraph at a time. Join the group and read a paragraph yourself. And it's time, so at 9 o'clock, you stay up there and watch the fireworks. Joe, you've been a part of that in the past, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell us about your activism, and you used to be a teacher in town. This is Joe Boyd.
Yep, I worked at North Shore Community College for 33 years. I'm retired now, and I really didn't teach. I was working with students who had experience that was worth college credit, and so I helped them turn it into credit so they didn't have to take courses where they knew the stuff. I have this t-shirt on, Lynn United for Change, and this is a group that we got together in support of candidate Obama years ago, before he was elected. And once he got elected, we decided to stay together, and we wanted to find some kind of a task, some kind of a job that wasn't being done in Lynn. And we came upon what we're doing is helping people who are being foreclosed on by the banks, being evicted by landlords. In fact, today I was out for a couple of hours knocking on doors. We get lists of people who are going through evictions. We get it from the courts. Knock on the door, invite them to a meeting tomorrow night, and we can, as a rule, delay the court case by a couple of weeks. Since we're volunteers, we don't charge any money, and so we let people know that we've got 10 years worth of experience understanding the banks, understanding landlords, understanding the courts, housing court, and so that's what we're doing. So tomorrow night, after knocking on doors today, tomorrow night, people will come to a meeting and we'll try to figure out, strategize with them how to save their house for them, or how to stay in their apartment.
What's the best way to get a hold of you? Website, the old Lynn United for Change?
Can you read that? I can't.
LynnUnited.org. Okay, LynnUnited.org. And
Okay, now I'm going to do a poem.
you got to do a poem.
Yeah,
all right.
that I wrote in Lynn in my backyard. I was gardening, and it just came
Share
to
your
me.
poem.
So here's my poem. A pumpkin or something was there in my yard. I tried to move it, but that was too hard. I tried to rock it, to roll it, but no, it was too big, it just wouldn't go. It was big and green and round like a ball. This must be the biggest pumpkin of all. I called my friend Julie. I asked her to come. She had her new shoes on and a hurt thumb, but said she would help me. We both pushed it hard, but we couldn't move it 1 inch in the yard. It's not a pumpkin. See what I mean, said Julie, still puffing. Pumpkins aren't green. Their color is orange, and this big they can't grow. Then what is it, I said, but she didn't know. We called to my father. Dad, come on out. We don't know what it is, but it's here without doubt. It's big and green with a pumpkin look, but bigger and greener. Bring your gardener's book. My father came out and we said, this thing won't budge. He said, step aside. I'll just give it a nudge. And he pushed, and I said, bless my soul, when it started to rock and it started to roll. Dad, is it a pumpkin? So big and so green. If it is, it's the biggest one we've ever seen. He said that it might be a dinosaur's eye, or a little spaceship from out of the sky, or the egg of a huge bird he'd once seen. He remembered that bird had the same color green. He put his ear to its side and he squinted one eye to hear a big baby bird or green men from the sky. It's quiet, he said. I don't hear a peep. The bird might be too small yet, or the green men asleep. But if this is a dinosaur's eye that is here, it won't make a sound if I listen all year. So why don't we wait? Let's just give it a week, and every day we'll all take a peek and listen for any sounds from inside and ask around about dinosaurs that are only one eye. So we waited that week, and we thought a lot about what it might be and what it might not. But no dinosaurs came through our yard on the prowl, and no little green men jumped out with a howl. At the end of the week, we stood out in the yard with no new ideas, though we all thought so hard. And then Julie said, there it is, I was right. I jumped in Dad's arms, I was so full of fright, and just as I thought it was going to hatch, Julie said, see, that orange patch? Right, said Dad, it's starting to turn. To where is it turning, I wanted to learn. To orange, said Dad. See that orange spot? In a few days, you'll see a lot. It's a pumpkin, said Julie. It changes from green. It'll be the biggest orange pumpkin we've ever seen. Well, at first I was sad that it wasn't an eye or an egg or a spaceship from out of the sky. But then I thought about Halloween. I'll have the biggest orange pumpkin I've ever seen.
I can't remember 3 lines. I'm impressed the fact that you wrote it and remembered it. We're going to wrap it up, and you're going to bring us home with another original song. Thanks, Joe Mulligan, for joining us here, and Justice Morley, and I'm going to go have a hot dog around the corner. It's really across the viaduct from here. And Joe, until next time, in every way and every day, keep loving Lynn. Joe, bring us home.
Heard about a person's story. read about it next in a book. I asked some people where I could find it, and some told me where to look. And I went searching for Strawberry Brook. Yes, I went searching for Strawberry Brook. Oh, I wanted to find it, was on my mind. Strawberry Brook. Well, long before the white man coming, it was a route the Indians made. In the colonial day, it became a highway in the Boston, Salem travel and trade. And I went searching for Strawberry Brook. Yes, I went looking for Strawberry Brook. I just had to find it, was on my mind. Strawberry Brook. Well, people settled along it. The town of Lynn grew by its side. A mill took its power, a tavern was built so that travelers might rest on their ride. And I went looking for Strawberry Brook. Yes, I went searching for Strawberry Brook. I just had to find it, was on my mind. Strawberry Brook. Well, some people never heard of it, and some said it was dried up and gone. Then one thought with care, said it still must be there. It's the water that flows from Flax Pond. I went down there looking for Strawberry Brook. Yes, I went looking for Strawberry Brook. It wasn't just on my mind, I was going to find Strawberry Brook. Then someone said, you are upon it. He said, it's right under your feet. And when the tide's coming in and the rain's coming down, it floods up all over Boston Street. I went there looking for Strawberry Brook. Yes, I went searching for Strawberry Brook. Oh, I knew I could find it, was on my mind. Strawberry Brook. We're just across the street from McDonald's, out behind Stinson's Ice Cream. About 40 feet long and 4 feet wide. It didn't seem what it should seem, but I found it, my Strawberry Brook. Yes, I found it, old Strawberry Brook. Sure I could find it, was on my mind. Strawberry Brook.